Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Operation Mahadev provides irrefutable evidence that all the 3 terrorists who carried out dastardly Pahalgam attack were Pakistani nationals. Forensic and documentary evidence establishes their LeT links too. Operation Akil in Pahalgam enters day 4 as joint operation by security forces continues as news tightens around remaining terrorists after 3 neutralized so far. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos to arrive in New Delhi on a state visit to hold a bilateral talk with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on issues of mutual interest. This will be his first visit to India after taking charge. Global outrage grows after Hamas releases footage of malnutritioned Israeli captives. Hamas says ICRS access only if aid corridors open. Security Council to meet on the matter on Tuesday. Amid escalating tensions between Washington and Moscow, Special U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff to visit Russia this week as Trump's peace deadline looms. In cricket, 5th and final test between India and England at the Oval move on to day 5 as rain forces stumps to be taken early. England with 339 at 6 at stumps trail India by 35 runs. The Indian government has released a detailed report on the identities and background of the Pahalgam attackers. The report mentions forensic, documentary and testimonial evidence collected during and after Operation Mahadev conclusively showed that all the 3 attackers were Pakistani nationals and senior Lashkar-e-Taiba or LET operatives. It says that they were hiding in the Dachigam-Harran forest belt since the day of the attack. Notably, no local Kashmiri was part of the shooting team. The report mentioned that Suleiman Shah was the mastermind and lead shooter, while Abu Hamza was the second gunman and Yasir was the third gunman and rear security. Pakistani government issued documents including Pakistan voter ID cards, Nadra-linked smart ID chips. Pakistan manufactured personal items like Candyland and Chocomax chocolates were recovered from the slain terrorists. The report also mentions that command and control links were found from inside Pakistan. Sajid Saifullah Jatt, LET's South Kashmir operations chief, was the overall handler. Voice samples from the recovered satellite phone match his earlier intercepted calls. While Rizwan Anis, LET Rawalkot chief, visited the families of the slain attackers on 29 July to organize funeral prayers without bodies and was filmed by locals. Footage now is part of the Indian dossier. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on 29th of July said for the first time that we have government-issued Pakistani documents in hand that nail the nationality of the Pahalgam attackers beyond doubt. The statement was made in the lower house of parliament. In Jammu and Kashmir, Operation Akil entered its 4th consecutive day on Monday, with fierce exchanges of gunfire and intermittent blasts continuing overnight in the dense forests of Pahalgam district. The Indian Army has deployed its HAL Rudra attack helicopter armed with 2 mm turret gun to support the operation. The operation was launched on the evening of 1st August based on specific intelligence inputs regarding the presence of terrorists. Joint teams of the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police, CRPF and the Special Operations Group are involved in the ongoing operation. So far, 3 terrorists believed to be affiliated with the Lashkar-e-Taiba have been killed, while 2 security personnel have sustained injuries. Search and firefighting operations are still underway. Indian security forces have intensified their counter-terrorism operations in Jammu and Kashmir, eliminating several terrorists in separate encounters over the past few days. Military drones completely designed and made in India were pivotal in India's success in Operation Sindoor. Our correspondent Nandita Dagar travelled to the Dras sector bordering the line of control with Pakistan and filed the special report on the UAVs which are deployed on India's borders. Take a look.
This is a mini remotely piloted aircraft built by Asteria Industries, completely made in India, indigenous, a symbol of self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is a UAV which is used primarily for surveillance, and it runs on two modes, the turbo mode as well as the cruise mode. This is a huge force multiplier for the artillery units because it can go into the enemy territory and there it can identify the locations which have to be targeted by our artillery guns. The SW remotely piloted aircraft manufactured by Idea Forge Industries, which is completely made in India, indigenous, is also like the other mini remotely piloted vehicle, the AT-15. This also aids artillery units in detecting the targets and locations. It's armed with gimbals or electro-optic and infrared pods beneath its fuselage. This quadcopter, the Q6, is armed with this high-resolution camera, which is an electro-optical and infrared camera, which means that it can see objects at night time also in the dark. Quadcopter, it has 4 rotors. Again, it is aiding the artillery. Trinetra is another quadcopter. You can see that this works with a console, and it is remotely piloted by the army troops using this console. Extremely state-of-the-art with a high-resolution camera and turbo motors which run its 4 propellers. We all know what first-person view drones did in Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb. Now, this is an example of Indian Army's own initiative, own innovation. Our troops in the Indian Army, every battalion, the soldiers have made this first-person view drone. I'd show you this joystick with which it can be steered. Of course, it's not flying right now, and this is for the navigation and steering of this first-person view drone. An example of Indian ingenuity, Indian Army's ingenuity. This is the small payload. The payload it carries is an explosive, could be dynamite, could be TNT, could be RDX, or any other explosive that the Army chooses. Apart from this joystick which controls this FPV drone, we also have this headgear. The soldier can wear it, and when he puts it on his eyes, he can see exactly what the FPV drone is seeing. This FPV is a kamikaze drone, which means it's a suicide drone. Once it is launched, it will go into the enemy territory, bomb the target, and of course be destroyed there. With camera person Manmohan in the Dras sector, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India.
The 14th edition of the India-Singapore Joint Military Exercise will conclude in Jodhpur today. The exercise witnessed the participation of 42 Singapore Armoured Regiment of the 4 Singapore Armoured Brigade and the Indian Army's Mechanized Infantry Regiment. Now, these exercises enhanced interoperability and operational coordination while reinforcing a shared commitment to maritime security and regional stability in the Indo-Pacific. Simbex continues to be a testament to the strong naval ties between India and Singapore, showcasing mutual respect, professionalism and a common vision for a secure and rules-based maritime order. India will host the first ever Binsteek Traditional Music Festival at New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam on Monday. The concert has been organized by Indian Council of Cultural Relations in association with Ministry of External Affairs and comprises of traditional vocalists and instrumentalists from the 7 member nations, that is India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. The 7 Nations One Symphony Music Festival features a hand-picked array of folk and classical music genres from the member nations. This multicultural musical tapestry honors age-old traditions and emphasizes on cultural harmony. The festival seeks to promote people-to-people linkages through the conservation of endangered art forms and regional harmony. President of Philippines, Ferdinand R. Marcos, will be on an India visit from 4th to 8th of August. During his state visit, he will be accompanied by First Lady Madame Luis Araneta Marcos, and a high-level delegation including several cabinet ministers, other dignitaries and senior officials, in addition to business representatives. This would be the first visit of President Marcos to India since assumption of office of the President of Philippines. The visiting leader will hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. He will also hold meeting with his Indian counterpart Draupadi Murmu. Diplomatic relations between India and the Philippines were established in November 1949. Both the countries have since developed a strong partnership across a wide spectrum of areas, including trade and investment, defense and security, maritime cooperation, agriculture, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and digital technologies. The two countries also engage closely at regional level, including through India's comprehensive strategic partnership with ASEAN. India's relations with the Philippines are an integral pillar of our Act East policy, Vision Mahasagar, and our vision of the Indo-Pacific. The forthcoming state visit of President Marcos coincides with the 75th anniversary of India-Philippines diplomatic relations. The visit is an opportunity for both the leaders to set the path for future bilateral cooperation and to engage on regional and international issues of mutual interest. Former Chief Minister of Eastern Indian state of Jharkhand, Shibu Surin, passed away. Shibu Surin died at the age of 81 at a hospital in Delhi, where he had been undergoing treatment for a prolonged illness. His son and current Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren is currently in Delhi. The Jharkhand Mukti Morcha leader was on ventilator support and in critical condition. He was hospitalized in the last week of June with a kidney-related issue. Shibu Surin was receiving regular treatment at the hospital for an extended period. He was the leader of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha for the past 38 years and was recognized as the party's founding patron. President Draupadi Murmu expressed grief over the demise of Shibu Surin. Posting on Platform X, she wrote, and I quote, "The demise of Shri Shibu Surin is a big loss in the space of social justice. He championed the cause of tribal identity and formation of the state of Jharkhand. Besides his work at the grassroots, he also contributed as the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, as a Union Minister and as a Member of Parliament. His emphasis on welfare of the people, especially the tribal communities, will always be remembered. I extend my deepest condolences to his son and Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Shri Hemant Soren ji, other family members and admirers," and I unquote. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also wrote on social media platform X, and I quote him, "Shri Shibu Surin was a grassroots leader who rose through the ranks of public life with unwavering dedication to the people. He was particularly passionate about empowering tribal communities, the poor and downtrodden. Pained by his passing away, my thoughts are with his family and admirers. Spoke to Jharkhand Chief Minister Shri Hemant Soren ji and expressed condolences. Om Shanti," and I unquote. Authorities suspended this year's annual Amarnath Yatra on Sunday, just a week ahead of its scheduled conclusion due to the need for maintenance on the tracks that were damaged by recent heavy rainfall. The Yatra will remain suspended from 3rd of August onwards along both Sonmad Baltal and Pahalgam Chandvanri routes, and further updates will be issued in due course of time. A total number of 4,14,311 pilgrims performed darshan at the cave shrine during the last 31 days. The 38-day-long yatra, which had started on July 3rd, will culminate on Sawan Purnima, coinciding with Raksha Bandhan festival, falling on August 9th. However, authorities decided to shorten it by a week, citing critical repair and maintenance work to be undertaken in the wake of heavy rainfall. The Indian Met Department has issued orange alert for multiple states, predicting heavy rainfall on August 4th. Rain warning is in place for Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The Met Department has forecast rain in Delhi on Monday. As per the Weather Department, the showers are likely to continue throughout the week in the region. In Bihar, pleasant weather is expected to continue for the next 5 days, accompanied by strong winds that will provide relief from humidity. Monsoon alerts have been issued in several districts. Heavy rainfall is also expected in the hilly states of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand as heavy rainfall spells continue to pound parts of Himachal Pradesh. As many as 297 roads remained closed in the hill state, with 164 roads blocked in Mandi district alone, while 67 roads remained blocked in Kullu district. 25 roads were blocked in Kangra and 21 in Chamba district. In the southern part of the country, widespread rainfall is expected in Karnataka over the next 7 days. Similar alerts have been issued for Kerala and Lakshadweep, forecasting continuous rainfall throughout the week. In Sikkim, the National Highway number 10 will remain closed from Coronation Bridge to Chitre for 3 days. Several incidents of landslides have been reported at National Highway 10 recently due to rains. In view of the weather alerts issued for Uttarakhand, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami held a virtual meeting with the district magistrates of all the 13 districts of the state from the Chief Minister's residence auditorium this morning. The Chief Minister discussed about the progress of development work in the districts and also the preparations to deal with the disaster. Up next, we're heading for a short break. You're watching DD India Live. Stay with us. After the break, we'll tell you Spain and Portugal brace for a fresh heat wave set to sweep the Iberian Peninsula. US President Donald Trump to name a candidate for an open position at the Federal Reserve after Fed Governor Adriana Kugler announced her early resignation. Boeing workers who build fighter jets plan to go on a strike.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's continue getting you more updates. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu requested the help of an international committee of the Red Cross on Sunday to aid hostages in Gaza. The comments came after Hamas released a video of starved hostage. The Premier's office said that he spoke to the ICRC coordinator for the region, Julian Lerison, and requested his involvement in providing food to the hostages and their immediate medical treatment. Netanyahu also spoke with the families of the hostages and expressed profound shock over the materials distributed by the terror organizations. Over recent days, Hamas and its ally, Islamic Jihad, have released 3 videos showing 2 hostages seized during the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel that triggered the ongoing war. The image of Rom Braslavsky and Aviatar David, both of whom appeared weak and malnutritioned, have fueled renewed calls in Israel for a truce and hostage release deal. Earlier in the day, tens of thousands of people had rallied in the coastal hub of Tel Aviv to call on Netanyahu's government to secure the release of the remaining captives. Braslavsky and David are among the 49 hostages taken during Hamas's 2023 attack, who are still being held in Gaza, including 27 the Israeli military says are dead. Meanwhile, Hamas says it will allow aid for hostages if Israel halts airstrikes, opens permanent humanitarian corridors. Hamas said that it was prepared to coordinate with the Red Cross to deliver aid to hostages it holds in Gaza if Israel meets certain conditions. The ICRC said in a statement that it was appalled by the harrowing videos and reiterated its call to be granted access to the hostages. A statement from the hostages' families forum said Hamas's comments about the hostages cannot hide that it has been holding innocent people in impossible conditions for over 660 days and demanded their immediate release. And until their release, Hamas has the obligation to provide them with everything they need. The United Nations Security Council will hold a special session on Tuesday morning to discuss the 50 hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza. It was following a request by Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar. Iran's top security body has approved the creation of a new defense council more than a month after a ceasefire ended the 12-day war with Israel. The new body, which will be chaired by the president and include top military commanders, among other senior officials and ministers, will be tasked with reviewing defense strategies and enhancing the capabilities of Iran's armed forces. On Friday, local media said the decision comes as part of broader structural changes to Iran's security apparatus. The move comes in the wake of a conflict with Israel that, according to official figures, left more than 1,000 people dead in Iran and 29 in Israel. Amid escalating tensions between Washington and Moscow, U.S. President Donald Trump said that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is expected to visit Russia this week. After a visit to Israel and Gaza Strip, Witkoff will travel to Russia potentially on Wednesday or Thursday.
Well, there'll be sanctions, but they seem to be pretty good at avoiding sanctions. You know, they're wily characters, and they're pretty good at avoiding sanctions, so we'll see what happens. But Steve is focused right now on the border in terms of, we're talking about with Gaza, getting people fed. And he may be going, I think next week, Wednesday or Thursday, may be going to Russia. They would like to see him. They've asked that he meet, so we'll see what happens.
Trump also hints of imposing sanction on Russia if it does not agree to cease fire. The U.S. leader, who returned to power on the pledge to swiftly end the conflict, has in recent weeks rolled back his earlier conciliatory approach towards Moscow and signaled openness to arming Ukraine. Spain and Portugal brace for a fresh heat wave set to sweep the Iberian Peninsula, with Lisbon warning of a very high risk of wildfires. Hot and dry summers are common across the region, but more intense heat waves have contributed to the destructive wildfires in recent years amid fast rising temperatures around the globe. Spain and Portugal are bracing for another punishing heat wave this week, with temperatures expected to soar above 42 degrees Celsius in parts of the Iberian Peninsula. The extreme heat has prompted warnings, with Lisbon declaring a very high risk of wildfires across large swaths of the country. This marks the second major heat wave of the season, coming just weeks after both countries recorded their hottest June on record. Mercury in some areas in Spain is expected to top 42 degrees Celsius in the coming days. Wildfires in southern Europe wreaked havoc this summer, destroying thousands of hectares of forest. With rising temperatures and worsening drought conditions, this season could get even more deadly. Portugal and Spain remain on high alert and have mobilized additional firefighting resources. Bureau Report, DD India. A week after catastrophic floods killed dozens in the deadliest deluge to hit the Chinese capital since 2012, Beijing on Monday warned all city districts to brace for a new round of heavy rainfall. Beijing has issued citywide alerts for heavy rainfall, urging residents to stay indoors. The authorities have raised all 16 districts on high alert. Parts of the Great Wall and underground businesses have been shut down as flash floods and landslides remain a major risk. In Guangdong province, 5 bodies were recovered, along with 3 in Hebei province. In a bold stride towards net zero emissions by 2050, Vietnam has unveiled a roadmap to transform crop production and curb agricultural emissions. Responsible for nearly 20% of the nation's greenhouse gases, with rice cultivation as the biggest contributor in the new 2025 to 2030 plan targets high emission crops and commits to cutting methane by 30%. Experts praise the initiative for blending climate action with farmer prosperity, ensuring eco-conscious farming becomes the backbone of sustainable growth. U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that he plans to name a candidate to fill an open position at the Federal Reserve within the next couple of days. This vacancy arose after Fed Governor Adriana Kugler announced her early resignation last Friday, leaving a key role open at the central bank. In addition, Trump said that he will also announce a new head for the Bureau of Labor Statistics within 3 or 4 days. This comes after he fired BLS Commissioner Erica McEntaffer, accusing her of falsifying job numbers. President Trump on Sunday stood by his decision to dismiss McEntaffer after the release of a disappointing jobs report, despite growing criticism over the move.
people in mind. I'll be announcing somebody for the filling of the person that left. A woman left, as you know, who is I guess a Biden appointment, either Biden or Obama, but I think a Biden appointment. And she left early, and I think she left because she agreed with me on interest rates, and yet they were on the other side of the ballpark, right? So I'll be announcing that probably over the next couple of days.
Thousands of members of a union representing Boeing defense industry workers in the U.S. states of Missouri and Illinois will go on strike early on Monday after rejecting a revised proposal for a new contract. The American aerospace giant's initial proposal, which included a 20% wage increase over 4 years and more vacation time, was rejected a week earlier. The new offer doubled the wage increase. The storied company has been in crisis since last year due to production quality issues and a 7-week strike that crippled 2 of Boeing's major assembly plants. Let's turn focus to sports now. The dramatic 5th and final test between India and England at the Oval moved on to day 5 as bad light and eventual rain forced stumps to be taken early on Sunday. India roared back into the contest after tea on day 4 as England were reduced from 301 for 3 to 337 for 6, with centurions Joe Root and Harry Brook dismissed in the process. England are aiming to script a record test run chase of 374 at the Oval, while India must win to level the series and retain the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.